Every single one of us have felt unappreciated at work at some point in time. Every human being has the desire to feel appreciated and valued at home, at work, in our friend group, and in other social groups as well. And that is because as human beings, we want to feel as if we mean something to somebody, whether that's our partner, our friends, or even our boss or our line manager at work. As the line manager of employees at work, or potentially a colleague of people at work, if you're not a leader, you're a colleague, then in this episode, I'm going to teach you 5 ways plus a bonus tip at the end how you can implement appreciation at work and show your employees and your colleagues appreciation, make them feel valued, and in doing so, get the most out of them, because people tend to work harder if they feel valued and they feel appreciated. So stay tuned, and I do highly recommend that you get a pen and paper handy, because all the tips, there's going to be a lot, and there's 5 tips, but under each tip, there's going to be sub tips that I'm going to give you. So get a pen and paper handy and get ready to pause and play the episode as you listen to these tips and things that I've done in the past, but also tips from other people that I've gathered from other leaders and suggestions, not just from me, but from other people and leaders like yourself. Okay, let's jump in. Leading as a woman is tough, but leading as a woman of faith is next level. However, it doesn't have to be that way. God has called you into this leadership role because He says you are worthy. You are His child, and if He qualifies you, who in this world can unqualify you? You might suffer from imposter syndrome and believe you're not good enough, but God says you are good enough. Hi, I'm Rika, Whelan, Christian leader and workplace culture coach, and together we're going to navigate leadership with faith as our foundation. Let's get started. Grab your coffee or water, keep that notebook and pen handy, and let's jumpstart your leadership. Now, one of the first ways that you can show appreciation at work for your employees or for your colleagues is through number 1, verbal appreciation. And if you're a person who communicates well, then verbal appreciation would be really, really easy for you. But if verbal appreciation or if communication is a really big struggle for you, then verbal appreciation is going to be tough. Not all of us are good with the words, okay? Some people are keyboard warriors, so they like to type. They type very well, they communicate very well on paper or on a computer, but they don't do it verbally very well. And so 100%, this is something that I've struggled with in the past, being a verbal warrior and not just a keyboard warrior. So verbal appreciation can be very, very good and can be very amazing. But if we only do verbal appreciation constantly, it can get quite redundant, especially if we're saying the same thing over and over again. So the sub-tip that I'd like to give you under this one, or the couple of ideas that I'd like to give you with verbal appreciation, is the power of sincere compliments. Instead of, thinking about those verbal communication, those things that you always say, for example, good job. Good job's the first thing that comes to my mind when I want to give somebody a compliment, or when I want to say something, I want to say, oh, that's a really good job, well done. Or good job, buddy, or good job this, or good job that, whatever. But it can come across as insincere if you say something like that. So my suggestion is that when somebody has done a good job, when you've seen that they've done a really good thing, you need to verbalize exactly what that thing is. So you can say something like, wow, that project communication or that project file that you put together was extremely well put together. Well done. You should be so proud of that. So be very, very specific when you're giving a compliment as to why you are giving them a compliment. Okay, we need to tell them exactly what they did well, not just good job, buddy, and a pat on the back. So we need to say that was such a job well done with your presentation. That was really excellent. Okay, so that is being specific. But the next thing that you need to be is timely. Okay, so your feedback needs to be timely. It doesn't help you give a appreciation or a compliment or give that good feedback 2 weeks later or 48 hours later. You need to be timely with that, because remember, when somebody does something and we immediately back it up with a compliment, or we immediately back it up with good feedback, it's like that immediate pat on the back, that immediate reassurance that, okay, I am doing a good job and I can do that again. Because in 48 hours, the feeling that that person had about the good job that they did has worn off. So let's say somebody has done a really good presentation, or they've put through together a really good project file. They are extremely proud of the job that they've done. But if you only give them feedback 48 hours or 72 hours or a week later, that feeling of elation, that feeling of proud, how proud they are to have put that together, has kind of worn off. Whereas if you give that timely feedback while they are still feeling proud, it actually means more to them in that space where they're feeling really proud of it than what you give it like many days later when that feeling has worn off. So specific and timely feedback that's obviously also sincere. It's a sincere compliment. Okay. Then the final thing I want to say with verbal appreciation is public recognition. Okay. This is a very, very tricky one. Okay. Because some leaders really do not prefer to give public recognition or to single out certain staff members in front of other staff members because they feel awkward about it. They feel like, why should I be singling one person out, because then everybody else is going to feel left out? Well, the problem with that is it's like this new generation that's come up of the participation medal era, or the participation medal generation, where everybody should be getting a participation medal, not just the people who have won should be getting a medal, but everybody who's participated should be getting a medal. We're really working in a generation, especially our younger generation, Generation Z at the moment, and then Generation Alpha, who is still in school at the moment. They've not hit the workforce yet, but Generation Z has hit the workforce, and Generation Z, your younger colleagues, they are your participation medal colleagues, and they are the ones who they feel like if they don't get recognition for every single thing that they do, they feel like they've failed. So be mindful that it is okay. It is 100% okay to single a colleague out. Yes, those people who earn participation medal, that generation, they might feel left out. But what you should be doing is you should really be ensuring that everybody gets public recognition at some point in time. So a good example of this is that, at my kids' school, every single child earns a certificate throughout the year. The teacher will tick it off, and I know this is again like a very simple example, but for children, and again, because it's human behavior, getting that certificate in front of their friends, that public recognition is extremely, extremely important. And remember, we carry that through to our adult life and through to our working life as well. So once a year, every single child earns a certificate. So it's September now. My son hasn't earned his certificate yet, but I know it's coming. He's very disappointed that he's not earned it yet, but it'll come because every single year, every single child gets a certificate. So my suggestion here is that if you're going to give public recognition to people in your team, please make sure that everybody gets public recognition at some point in time. Yes, it's kind of hitting that participation medal situation, but if you are only singling out the same people all the time, it's showing favoritism. Everybody's going to think like, oh, that person is clearly her favorite. That person gets singled out all the time. I mean, I am doing an internship at the moment, and I mentioned this before. And every single week, there's a gold star that goes to a couple of people in the internship. We're all adults. And so every single week, I'm listening out, did I get the gold star this week? Did I get the gold star this week? And I'm an adult, and I even want that gold star every single week. I'm listening for my name. And then that one week when I did get the gold star, I was like, ooh, that was amazing. Yay, I like that. And so, I mean, that gold star, it's not even something physical that I got. It was just verbal appreciation over a phone message. Okay. So Everybody wants to feel appreciated. So, and public recognition in front of their peers is something that can be really, really meaningful. On Friday, I was at an event where the leader actually publicly recognized one person, and he actually said over the microphone to every single person who were there, and there was a lot of people there, he said, "Oh, I usually don't publicly recognize any staff in front of others, but I just want to single out one person." And I thought to myself, well, you are making it awkward now because you're singling out this one person when you don't normally do that. So what is everybody else going to feel? They're going to feel resentful because you don't publicly recognize anybody at any point in time, but now you're singling out this one person and everybody else is going to feel resentful because of that. So please make sure that when you're publicly recognizing people, you are actually keeping a record of it and find things to publicly recognize people for, okay? Do it. I know it falls under the participation medal era. It's okay. You don't have to recognize every single person every single day. That's not going to happen. But you do need to recognize some people at some point in time and single them out. That is okay. That is okay. But do it correctly, please. All right, let's move on to number 2, the non-verbal appreciation. So number 1 was verbal appreciation and number 2 was non-verbal appreciation. Okay, so with non-verbal appreciation, the way you can really show somebody that you appreciate them is through active listening. So when somebody comes to you and they want to just come and talk to you, is actively listening to them, okay? Along with that goes your body language and quality time. Now, if somebody comes and sees you in your office and they've got something that they really need to talk to you about, but you have a deadline, okay? Your line manager, you're in the middle manager, and your line manager is waiting on something for you. But your employee comes to you and they're in a tailspin, something's going on. You're on your computer typing away while they're telling you a story or while they are crying and having tissues, but you're still typing away on your computer. That is disrespectful, and you're not showing them respect or appreciation if you do that. I know it's going to be tough, but stop right there what you're doing. Flick an email, say to the person, I really want to listen what you have to say, but you're going to have to give me 2 minutes. I just need to quickly email so-and-so. They're waiting on me for something, but just hold on. Email your line manager and say, I'm really sorry. I've got a hold up at the moment. So-and-so needs to speak to me urgently. I will do this as soon as I possibly can. Then you put your computer down and you listen to that person. That is a really good way to show that non-verbal appreciation. Turn your body to that person. Don't give them the side eye. Don't give them your shoulders. Don't give them your back. Face them, look at them, and listen to them. So active listening, body language, and quality time is a way to show non-verbal appreciation. It's not just when they come into your office, but also in a group setting. And also during meetings when that happens, is to actively listen during a meeting and that point your body language to them and then giving them that quality time as well and not just rushing them off. Okay. Number 3 is tangible appreciation. Okay, tangible appreciation. So tangible appreciation can be things like gifts and bonuses, flexible working arrangements, professional development opportunities. So there's actually a lot of ways that we can tangibly show our appreciation to our colleagues. And yeah, that's really you know what? I thought I listed 5 things, but there's actually 6 things, 6 ways to show appreciation. So tangible is number 3. So your gifts and bonuses. So, you can give a gift at the end of every year, a gift on their birthday, whether it's a plant, in the education space, every single year there's a Teacher Appreciation Day. So I made sure that on Teacher Appreciation Day, we made a lot of effort for the teachers so that they would feel appreciated. And then at the end of the year, we would have a end of year function where that would be, we would all out have this beautiful function, and then I would give out gifts at the end of the year or certificates of appreciation or these tangible things that people can actually physically take with them. Okay, so gifts or bonuses, flexible working arrangement is really a good way to show your appreciation as well. After COVID, people are looking for flexible working arrangements. They no longer want to settle for this fixed term arrangements where they don't have the ability to work from home when their kids are sick, for example. So If you've got the power in you to give them that once a fortnight, once a week, or when their kids are sick, or whatever that might look like, do it. Okay, if it's not within your power, bring it up to the leadership team. Maybe it's something that you guys can consider. If you're discussing your enterprise bargaining agreement, let them tell you, or their work contracts, let them tell you how they would feel appreciated. Let them brainstorm some ideas. You don't have to take all of those ideas, but if the employees feel that the leadership team is listening to them, then you can come back to them and say, okay, we've really looked at everything that you guys requested. We understand that, please understand that not all of this is possible, but we had a good look and the following is actually possible from your suggestions. So take their suggestions, see what they would value as something that would really show them appreciation, and try and do that. Okay. Something like a rostered day off, like an RDO is what we call it here in Australia, or like I said, they mentioned the ability to work from home when their kid is sick or something like that. Not all the time, but maybe once a month, or maybe coming in late, or a morning off, or something that is tangible to them or flexible. And then those professional development opportunities. Professional development opportunities have become very, like the thing to do for staff, because these professional development budgets are quite big, especially if you're in the mining sector. There's like millions of dollars allocated for professional development. And companies are more likely to budget really high numbers for professional development in comparison to something like gifts and bonuses and flexible working arrangements. And I think it's because the organization knows that if they invest in professional development within their team, they're going to get that back, because the staff member is leveling up their skill. And then in turn, that's going to show on the floor or when they're working, because then they've upskilled themselves. But just remember that we don't only want to give them these professional development opportunities or these things that can better the company. Remember, we also want to do things that's good for them and for their well-being, because all of these things, showing them appreciation, will 100% improve their ability to work. It'll increase their capacity if you look after their well-being. Okay, and mental health and well-being leave and mental health leave and these things have become so crucial and so important. I know some companies are still ignoring it, unfortunately, but it's become quite crucial that you do that. Okay, the number 4 is experiential appreciation. So that is through your team building activities, social events, and celebrations. So what I mentioned before about the end of year function, the Christmas function, or the end of year function, we stopped calling it a Christmas function because some of our staff members did not celebrate Christmas. But the end of year function, we went all out in terms of finances, because we ate well. We made sure that there was a good experience for the staff. Twice a year, we would do team building activities. We budgeted for it. That was like really, really good. And we made sure that it was also something that the team wanted. So back with the professional development opportunities, for example, that it kind of falls within the team building. So what we did is we had this staff, there was once a year where we did a whole professional development day. But we also used it as a team building opportunity. So we asked the staff to vote for their favorite experience that they wanted on the professional development day. And so we then booked that person in, and then it was a really fun day, something that they could do together. Once a month, I would also book in a professional development, every second month, I would also book in a professional development opportunity instead of a staff meeting. So we had staff meeting, professional development, staff meeting, professional development, like that. And in those professional development, it wasn't just what I wanted, it was also what the team wanted. So one month we had a sustainability one where we had somebody bringing out worm farms and recycling, teaching us all about worm farms and recycling. And we started a worm farm at work. So everybody could bring their food scraps in, and we could get the worm tea, take it home and put it in our plants. So it was something that was like a team building exercise. We had to maintain the worm farm. We had to, feed the worms with our food scraps and X, Y, and Z. It was just so much fun. It was really, really good. And obviously those social events and then those celebrations was good as well. Not just at the end of the year, but right throughout the year. So we would have an events calendar. Everybody's cultures were put into the events calendar. So then I would send the events calendar out to the team. They would add anything or delete anything that they didn't want in there. I mean, they would make a note as to why. And then from there, we would put up the calendar. Like March was always a cultural day, so there was a day where everybody could bring in their food from their culture, and we could share it as a meal. So things like that. And then there was always lots of fun things. And I learned a lot about different cultures and different religions, because it's a good way to be respectful towards other people. And then the same for them to me, being a Christian. And so those are really good ways as well. And then the number 5 is personalized appreciation. So, understanding your employees' individual needs and preferences, and then tailored recognition efforts. So basically understanding each individual. So let's say, for example, you've got team members with a couple of team members that have got ADHD. You might have a couple of team members that have that's not neurotypical, that's neurodiverse in some way. For example, like the ADHD, you might employ someone that has a disability. Or you might have a lot of neurotypical people that don't have any diagnosis, but they've got different personalities, like we all do. Nobody's the same. So just understanding everybody's individual quirks and showing appreciation for that, letting people use their strengths as strengths and not forcing them to use their weakness as a strength, because sometimes that does happen. We have to focus on our weaknesses to make them strengths. But what is really good is that, and I'm not saying that's not good, because if you've got a weakness that is actually something that is in your job description and it's a KPI, then you have to work on it, right? We're not just going to ignore it. But what I mean by that is that if somebody is really strong at doing presentations and another person is really good at actually writing the presentation but not presenting the presentation, why not divvy it up? Why not have one person write the presentation and the other person present the presentation? So try and figure out what are people's strengths and weaknesses, and then from there actually saying, okay, as a team, these are all our strengths and these are all our weaknesses. Let's work together as a team to use everybody's strengths to their strength, because that's what we want, okay? So, and then tailored recognition efforts. If you know for a fact that somebody does not like being recognized in public, it embarrasses them, it is the worst feeling in the world, then don't do it. If they like being recognized privately in your office, then do that, okay? I know it contradicts exactly what I said before about making sure that everybody gets public recognition. But this is where tailored individual recognition come in, okay? You need to know your people. I had a colleague who absolutely despised having her photo taken. And sometimes it was unavoidable. She had to be in photos, but we respected the fact that she didn't want to be in all the photos. Sometimes I had to warn her. I'm going to say there's a photo opportunity coming up. It is an expectation that you have to be in that one. I warned her. And then after that, if there was any other photos, she did not want to be in them. So, just understanding that, okay, yes, she's going to win this award, but she doesn't like the photos that go along with it. So just, warning her that, okay, because instead of just like giving her the award and then she has to stand for a photo, I warned her before. So it kind of wasn't a surprise to her that she was going to get the award and then have a photo taken, because I knew that that was something that upset her to get her photo taken without notice, okay? We all have these things. We just have to know our colleagues and our employees well, okay? And then number 6, leading by example. So showing appreciation to your line managers and superiors and peers, and then fostering a culture of gratitude. So it's very important that you don't only want the appreciation to come from you. You want your peers and your colleagues and your employees to also show appreciation to each other. So coming up with a secret Santa at the end of every year, if that's something that you guys celebrate, or if some way for people to exchange gifts or exchange words. So at one of my old workplaces, we had a board in the staff room where people could recognize each other on a Post-it note. If they've seen that somebody's done something well, they can write it anonymously on a Post-it note. They can add their name if they want to, or they can keep it anonymous and post it on the board. And so that when everybody comes into the appreciation board, they could see their little Post-it note on there of appreciation. So there's many ways that people can show appreciation to each other, Okay, you should find ways that your employees can also show appreciation, not only you. And then the bonus tip that I want to give is consistency. So really making appreciation a habit, and then thinking about the long-term benefits of consistent recognition. Because if people feel recognized at work, they feel valued at work, and you will get more out of them because they feel so valued at work. You will 100% get more out of them. They will want to come to work every single day because they feel appreciated and valued. And that's what you want for your employees. You don't want them to have resentment towards the fact that people are being favored and only they are being valued and appreciated and not you. So yeah, that's my bonus tip, is really just doing these things consistently and making sure that you and your team are doing it. Not only you, but you and your team. Okay, so you can have a conversation with your team, introduce all this appreciation to them, come up with maybe a key term that you want to use, saying that it's maybe appreciation week, or it's maybe this, or it's maybe that. And then in this appreciation week, introducing all these things that I mentioned, and then just running with it, moving it from there. So you can make it a big deal 1 week or a month. And then from there saying, okay, this worked really well. I would like to implement this and this and this and this consistently and long term. Okay. So yeah, I really hope that that episode will help you to show appreciation at work. Those 6 things that I mentioned was verbal appreciation, non-verbal appreciation, tangible appreciation, experiential appreciation, personalized appreciation, and leading by example. And then the bonus tip is consistency. Okay, I pray that you will have an amazing week and that the Lord will bless you and that He'll keep you safe, and that you will come back to the podcast next week, and that you'll come and listen to another conversation about gossip that's coming up next week. And I've got another extremely good guest coming up next week, so come and listen. And please come and leave me a message on the womanoffaithinleadership.com website. There's a place where you can ask a listener question or leave me some feedback. If you've not done so yet, please go and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Leave a 5-star review, but also do a written review. So put a written review in there. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you feel gutsy, you can leave me a speak pipe, which is a message that you can record. And if you give me permission, if you leave me the message, then you basically give me permission to play it on the podcast as well. If you'd like for me to do that, you can be on the show. You can also ask me a question on SpeakPipe. So you can ask me a question, I'll play the question on the show and then just answer the question on the show directly. Or you can send me an email, support@rikawhelan.com, with your question. And yeah, I'd just love to answer those listener questions, love to connect with you as well. Come and join the Women of Faith in Leadership Facebook group. So you can literally just go to Facebook and search Women of Faith in Leadership, or go to womenoffaithinleadership.com and just scroll down to the join the community. And I'd love to connect with you there. So I am so appreciative of each and every listener on the show. And I'd love to connect with you. I love this show, and the Lord is just so amazing to, just bring the show to you all. And please share this episode with other leaders in your community that you know of that would also really appreciate these appreciation methods. So a lot of appreciation in that sentence. Well, I look forward to chatting with you again next week, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. God bless. Thanks so much for listening. If this podcast blessed you in some way, the number one way you can thank me is by leaving a review. Your feedback means the world to me and lights me up every single time when I read it, and it makes me want to keep going. So please leave a review, and your review will also help other Christian women in leadership find the answers they are looking for. So whether you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, scroll down to the review section and leave that review. Then head over to womenoffaithinleadership.com and join our free Facebook community, and I look forward to engaging with you there.